Here we go. Shalom, everyone. This is Brother Doug, and I am with my brother and sisters tonight, and we are going to do a study called The Canon of the Set-Apart Scriptures Proves Flat Earth. This will be a part 2 to our earlier study of how Enoch proves the flat Earth, but specifically we're going to be using just the Canon tonight. So, and I'm with my brother Bobby, my sister Kristen, my sister Shoshana, my sister Sally, and we are the Awakened by Yahuwah group. So we are going to be diving straight into this study right now. Hope you guys got your seatbelts on. All right, so we are going first to Genesis, and this also known as Barashith. And I will be putting my share screen on for the viewers so they can actually follow along with us. Just bear with me here so I can get to the verse that we're going to start at. Let me put my share screen on. And here we go. I'm going to be using something that's called Bible Discovery app, and it's a really good app. Let me see here if I can actually find it on here. It's not showing up. That's weird. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to use my eSword then. And the eSword is also another good app for anyone that's trying to find any Bible apps that will help you out test the translation. So here we go. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 to 17. I'm going to start at verse 14 here. I'm going to use the Brenton's Septuagint just for fun. And Yahuwah said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth to divide between day and night. And let them be for signs, for seasons, and for days and for years." Verse 15. "And let them be for light in the firmament of the heaven, so as to shine upon the earth." And it was so. And Yahuwah made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. The stars also. So stars are not the same things as the sun and the moon. Note that in verse 16. The stars are different. "And Yahuwah placed them in the firmament of the heavens so as to shine upon the earth." So we end in the first bullet point. So we have the firmament to start out with. Then we have the 2 great lights. One that rules the day, the sun. The moon is the lesser great light that rules the night. And then you have the stars. And if you're interested to find out what the stars are, it's in Revelations chapter 1. You will find that stars are Malachim, aka in your English translations, angels. So anyway, we are going to quickly go to part
Before you move ahead, Doug,
Okay.
I think we should stipulate that this shows that the sun and moon were created on the 4th day, and the earth had already been created before the sun and moon were created.
Yes, that's true. These luminaries were created on the 4th day, so that's important to note.
Yes, so it cannot be a heliocentric model if the sun was created after the earth. This is what we want to show with this. We can only have a geocentric model. That is, the earth is the center and the sun and moon revolve around the earth, as Enoch showed us earlier in part 1.
Yes, and just to make note of the fact that Shoshana is saying is literally 3 days after the earth is already created is when Yahuwah created these lights, these luminaries. So literally you have a 3-day space after the earth is already there. So in Genesis 1:1, you'll see all the way down to where we just read from that the earth started out basically with just water, and then Yahuwah started creating the grass and, the other creations. And so basically the lights were not even created until the fourth day. So that's very important to point out.
And he separated the waters too.
Yeah.
He put some of the waters above and some of the waters below, which became seas. But the waters that are above are right on top of the firmament, which we'll go into later.
Yep, and the next part we're going to talk about, this actually gives us a little bit of backing to why the sun moves and the earth doesn't. So this is going to be our second bullet point, and this is the book of Yahusha, or in your English translations it would say Joshua, chapter 10, verse 13. So we're going to the book of Yahusha, chapter 10, verse 13. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Yashar or Jasher? So the sun stood still in the middle of heaven or the sky, and hastened not to go down about a whole day. So basically, in our modern terminology, that would mean the sun did not move at all for basically a 24-hour period. So that means that the sun normally moves. Now, obviously, in other places in Scripture, you also see, and we'll go on to later in this study of scriptural proof that the earth will not move and cannot move. So this verse here is literally saying that the sun stood still, meaning that normally it would move. So that's why we're using Yahusha chapter 10, verse 13. And also,
it also says that the moon stopped. So both your lights stopped. And only Yahuwah can make them stop. If they're moving and they stopped, then they have to be the ones rotating around the earth instead of the other way around.
Yep. And another note, even though this is kind of like side comment, but a little endorsement to the book of Yashar. Anyone that wants to check that book out, that's a little endorsement by Yahusha, son of Nun. So let's see here. Now we're going to go to the third bullet point, which is we are going to go to that the earth is shaped like a circle. Yahuwah formed the earth as a circle. So we're going to go first to Isaiah. In the Hebrew, that would be Yashayahu, chapter 40, verse 22. And it says in chapter 40, verse 22, I personally like the Hebrew's name version of this particular verse. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. Now, there's a lot in this verse. First of all, you have the fact that he sits above the circle of the earth, meaning the shape of the earth is a circle. And it's saying that the inhabitants, us, are as small as grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain. So he made the heavens, basically, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, like how a curtain would look. And spreads them out like a tent. So the earth can almost be described as like a tent also. So there's a lot packed in this one verse here. So basically, this is giving you the shape of the earth. To sum it all up, it's giving you what the earth would look like. Okay, so the key part of this verse is circle. What is a circle? A circle is flat. Okay, it's round. It's not curved. Also, for your own study, we don't really have time to get into the whole Strong's, but if you want to look up on blueletterbible.org, you can actually find that the Hebrew word used for this is circle, not ball. Isaiah knew the difference between circle and ball. It's actually a completely different Hebrew word that's not used in this verse. So that's just something I wanted to note, and just to make because people will say, oh, why is it not saying, why does it say circle instead of ball? Well, because the Hebrew word being used means circle and not ball. So that's just a short explanation. But anyway, let's go to the next verse real quick, and this is our second witness of the earth being shaped like a circle. Proverbs 8, verse 27 says, in the Hebrews Name Version, when he established the heavens, I was there. When he set a circle on the surface of the deep. Now, obviously, the surface of the deep could be referring to possibly, I would think, I could be wrong, the waters above the waters. So that's what I'm thinking, is being in context that Solomon's talking about here, King Solomon. He established the heavens when he set a circle on the surface or face of the deep. So that's Proverbs chapter 8, verse 27. Okay, so let's see here. If Shoshana, if you want to add anything, if not, we could go to the next bullet point.
Well, only that a circle is different from a sphere in that it is a two-dimensional, flat, round thing, not like a ball. A ball would be like a three-dimensional sphere. And we're going to show in the next part how it could not be a sphere that we live on, because well, let me say this about it, because the last bullet point, which is number 7, is going to show how all things can be seen from above in the entire earth, and you can't do that on a ball. Go ahead, Doug.
All right, so here we go. All right, so now we are up to our 4th bullet point, which we are going to start off with Job chapter 37, verse 18. Now that says, can you with him spread out the sky, which is strong as a cast metal mirror? Now, the interesting thing to point out is that he's actually referring to the firmament here. Okay, so he's actually talking about the firmament, that it's like a vault, a molten glass type of structure. So basically in Job 37:18 is talking about the firmament. So, and then if we go to the next one, which is Genesis chapter 7, verse 11, says, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of the heaven were open. So basically what you have in Genesis chapter 7, verse 11 is, number 1, you have fountains of the great deep, basically the waters upon the waters. Then you have windows of the heavens, the sky, the windows of the sky. That could be all referring to the same thing as the hard molten glass mirror, the vault of heaven, the firmament. So this is basically describing the firmament as also windows of the heavens were opened. And it's talking about the waters upon the waters as the fountains of the deep. So again, this is Genesis chapter 7, verse 11. And the last one we're going to go on this bullet point is Genesis chapter 8, verse 2. This says, the fountains also of the deep and the windows of the heaven were stopped, meaning closed, and the rain from heaven was restrained. So again, this is following that verse up in Genesis 8, verse 2, is talking about now the windows of heaven basically were closed. They stopped. Yahuwah closed them. And the rain from heaven was restrained. So the water above the waters above the waters stopped falling upon the earth. He closed them up in the firmament. So that's the last verse, cross-reference of bullet point number 4 of this study. Shoshana, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because the firmament is a firm, hard, glass like a mirror, it can be opened and closed. It's a firm thing. It's not like some people call an expanse. That's not the firmament. The firmament holds the water above the earth. And if Yahuwah opened that window to let all that water flood the earth at that time, and then he closed those windows. So only he can open and close the firmament to let the water down. And he made a promise that he would not flood the earth again.
It's a good explanation there. All right, so we're going to jump ahead because we got no more points for bullet point number 4, no more cross references there. So we're going to go to bullet point 5, which is 1 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 30, and that says, Fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. And me personally, I really like how the Hebrews names version translates this, and it actually says, tremble before him all the earth. The world also is established, that it can't be moved. So again, it's saying basically that the earth cannot move. It's established. It's firm.
And if you have the Hallelujah scriptures, it'll tell you the earth is immovable. That's the Hallelujah scriptures.
Okay.
So we're not spinning. We're not a ball spinning in space like we've been told for all these many years. We've been lied to from day one. The earth is immovable, says your creator, Yahuwah.
All right. Unless anyone else here, you guys can unmute yourselves if you want to add anything. If we don't have anything else to add, I would like to jump to bullet point number 6, but I'm going to give a chance for anyone else that's with us right now to add anything if they want. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Now we're going to go to number 6, and we are going to go first to Isaiah Yashayahu 66 verse 1. It says, Thus says Yahuwah, heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. What kind of house will you build to me? And what place shall be my rest? That is the Hebrews name version. So, okay, now, what I'm going to do here, since we're on shared screen, I am actually going to go to a tiny little, well, actually, I don't even need to go to a YouTube video. I should be able to find this on Google Images, actually, now that I think about it. So, really quick, we're just going to go to an image here and show you what a footstool would look like as the earth being Yahuwah's footstool and what that would actually look like. So I believe if I type in on Google Images, flat earth footstool, we will get an image here to show everyone.
You may want to pause.
All right, here we go. Perfect. The one I was just looking for. The one that's from Rob Skiba's
Okay.
video. So we got it right here. As you can see, people, you have Isaiah 66 verse 1 right here being quoted. And you have a footstool to the right, bottom right, an actual literal footstool that we would know of. And then you have Yahuwah's terrarium. That's what the name of the model is called, the terrarium of Yahuwah. And you have the 4 legs, the 4 pillars of the footstool of the earth. And then you have the firmament up here. You have the glass hard metal firmament. And then on the sides, you have these metal walls, or possibly ice walls, actually. Let me correct myself. Those are like ice walls, I believe, where you see the sides of the earth. And so that's how you would not fall off of the flat earth, because you have these walls protecting us. And then you see the sun and the moon inside the vault, inside the firmament, in our atmosphere. So, and that's the best model I could really give you guys as a visual. Hopefully this helps. So that's pretty much what I believe Isaiah 66:1 is saying with the earth is Yahuwah's footstool. I think it's figurative and literal. Many people interpret it as being figurative and not literal. I believe it's both. I believe it can be figurative, meaning that literally it's like Yahuwah's footstool, meaning that he has dominion over it, it's his, but also that it's literal, that it's a literal footstool. So it's actually both. So I just wanted to point that out and show you guys that image. And now I also want to go to a couple more verses we have here. Isaiah 11, verse 12. And let's see here. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 12. And let me just put my share screen back on here. And I'm going to go to my eSword app again. Okay, Isaiah 11, verse 12. He will set up a banner for the nations and will assemble the outcasts of Yashrael and gather together the dispersed of Yehuda from the 4 corners of the earth. The earth has 4 corners, 4 pillars. So that's what I just showed you guys before of the terrarium. You have the 4 legs of the footstool, the 4 pillars. So, and after that verse, we also have Revelations chapter 20, verse 8, which says, and he shall go out, meaning Hashatan, Gabriel, he shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is the sand of the sea. So again, the 4 corners of the earth. So, all right, so we have Revelations 28, Isaiah 11, verse 12. Now we also have Revelations chapter 7, verse 1, which says, after these things I saw 4 Malachim standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. So again, and the thing you got to think of too, you should try to picture in your head, how do you get 4 corners on a round ball or a globe? You can't really get 4 literal corners on a ball. It literally has to be flat. It has to be a flat circle or a flat square or a flat oval. You have to have a flat surface to get 4 corners, is my point. And let's see, do we have any more for this? I think we are done for point number 6. Oh, no. We got one more. My bad. We got one more. We got Matthew chapter 24, verse 31. And Matthew 24, 31 says, and he shall send his Malachim with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect or chosen from the 4 winds or corners from one end of heaven to the other. So again, this is talking about him going to the four corners of the earth. Yahusha, well, not Yahusha going, but sending his Malachim, his heavenly messengers, and gathering us from the four corners of the earth. So that's the last verse I have for this bullet point of the earth has four corners. And I'm going to allow Shoshana if she wants to add anything. I'm going to mute myself now if anyone else wants to add anything before we go to our last bullet point.
No, I think you covered this pretty well, that the flat earth has four corners, and the illustration from Rob Skiba showed very well how that would look. Let's go on to our last bullet point, which is number 7, and I'll let you take that away.
All right. Okay, so we're almost done here, and this is going to basically be the climax of the study here. So we got two cross-references here. We have Revelations chapter 1, verse 7, which says, "Behold, he comes with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also will which pierced him. And all the kindreds of the earth shall wail or cry, mourn because of him. Even so be it." And obviously right here we got to notice, okay, how many returns does Yahusha have? He has one return. So if every eye is going to see him on this one event, that means every person on the earth at that point who is alive at that very moment will see him. That is utterly impossible on a globe. That is impossible. There's no way every eye is going to see him at the same time. And we know from Scripture there's only one return. There's only one day of Yahuwah. There's only one return where everyone shall see him. Okay, so that's the first point I want to make, is Revelations 1:7 makes it impossible to have that on the globe. Also, another one that makes it impossible, if you continue with me here, Matthew chapter 4, verses 8 to 9. And that says, "And again, Gadriel, the devil, Hashatan, takes him up to an exceedingly high mountain, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the esteem of them, and said to him, all these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me." Now, pay close attention to verse 8. Verse 8 clearly says he showed him all the kingdoms of the world. Now, that's literal. How do you get that on a high mountain, seeing all the kingdoms of the world at once on a globe? That's impossible. Okay, so you have to have four corners and a flat surface to get that. To be able to go on a high mountain and see all the kingdoms of the world at once. So again, that's Matthew chapter 4, verse 8 to 9, and I think that's pretty much the conclusion of this study. I want to thank the viewers and our fellow brothers and sisters in the faith of Yahusha, and the Father Yahuwah allowing us to present this material. Hopefully Yahuwah has used us as vessels to kind of, present this to you guys in a way to think about it, and really possibly as a witnessing tool to unbelievers that are starting to become truthers and stuff, and start to realize that the earth is flat. So I hope this teaching brought to you guys. Well, not teaching, I'll take that back. Actually study brought to you guys. And if anyone has anything to add, Bobby and Kristen, Sally, Sister Shoshana, if you guys want to add anything I might have missed or skipped over.
I think that what we've just shown is the Scripture's picture, a flat circle with sun and moon going around the surface like this. And they can be stopped. The sun and the moon can, but the earth is immovable. The earth cannot move according to his word. And either we've been lied to by our government or lied to by Yahuwah's word. And Yahuwah's word does not lie. So we know that he tells us the truth. we've been lied to by our government since we were small children, since they put a globe in every classroom. And I think this is just astounding that they could do this and have everyone believing in something that's a lie. All their missions to outer space, that can be so proven it's a lie. And if you watch some of the videos that they've shown, all these missions to the moon, it's a lie. I just encourage you to watch what they have on YouTube showing why we never went to the moon. And you'll see that it's all a big lie. And who was it that said, if you tell a lie big enough and long enough, people will believe it?
Adolf Hitler. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to, I have one cross-reference to end this, and really for people to think about. People say, oh, well, science has proven this, science has proven that. Who are you going to trust in, man or Yahuwah? Romans chapter 3, verse 4. By no means, yea, let Yahuwah, Yod-He Uah-He, tetragrammaton here, let Yahuwah be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that you might be justified in your sayings and might overcome when you are judged. So again, this is Romans chapter 3, verse 4, and for me, that's my motto. That's my life motto. Yahuwah's word is the truth. Men are liars. So
That's right.
I trust in the scriptures. I will trust in this book and will not trust in man. And so I think that's pretty much all we can really give you guys at this point. I think that was more than enough, something for you guys definitely to think about. Also, just to go on for worldly sources, Hollywood puts the truth hidden in plain sight. Look up the bench scene in Men in Black. Literally tells you, Tommy Lee Jones literally says it right in plain sight. 400 years ago, everyone knew the earth was the center of the universe. And I think he says right after that, 1,500 years ago, everyone knew the earth was flat. Imagine what we will know tomorrow. So that's something for you guys to think about too. Why is Hollywood saying that in the movie? So hope this study rocked all you guys and all of our brothers and sisters in the faith. We just want to hope you guys have a great rest of your Shabbat. Shalom. This is Brother Doug with my sister Shoshana, my brother Bobby, my sister Chris, and our sister Sally. We're signing off. Stay tuned until next time. Shalom.